What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with another video on Batman. So we're going to talk about what's going on with DCEU films, what I believe is going on, and what has been reported in the last few days about multiple Batmans being in DC Universe, but in the sense of the multiverse, because we know that Robert Pattinson's variation of Batman is supposed to be the future of the DC Universe Batman, at least in its own standalone universe, which doesn't really make any sense. So, if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos at the 100,000 subscribe mark. I will be giving away something pretty darn cool. So like I've been telling you guys, ever since the start that I've been hearing that Joe Manganiello will be returning with Ben Affleck to do their movie, the one that had a great script that Olivia and loads of other people said was one of the greatest Batman scripts ever been made. But then all of a sudden, because of Jeff Johns, etc., it got scrapped and then they replaced him with a new Batman, aka Robert Pattinson. Okay, that's cool. So it seems like we're going to be getting two different variations of Batman. Ben Affleck and Joe Manganiello, Deathstroke going on in that universe, Robert Pattinson in his own universe, and then this Michael Keaton story, and then it may be even Batman Beyond as well. So there are multiple websites reporting that Ben Affleck has signed a new contract, at least for HBO Max. So, the new information claims that Ben Affleck has already signed a new contract to return as Batman, and that Affleck will be involved in additional appearances related to HBO Max, the HBO Max Batman vs. Deathstroke movie, and the Zack Snyder Justice League movie. So, this information isn't coming from a normal source that I would use, but it seems pretty legit. It seems on the right lines, the similar stuff that I've been hearing. So, Ben has indeed signed a new contract. He is coming back, says Taylor Murphy of Culture Nerd. And Culture Nerd keep appearing absolutely everywhere at the moment. The official announcement is expected to happen at the DC Fandom in August or during Justice Con, which is the Justice League. Zack Snyder will be featuring in it somehow, so it could be at one of them too. We're going to get the announcement, but it's going to happen before September. We are going to get the official announcement, and we are going to get the Snyderverse Batman is going to appear and going to return. So this is something that I've been telling you guys for a while, that Ben Affleck is back. He's not just returning to do dialogue scenes like most people online seem to think. The Justice League Snyder Cut, it's not just audio scenes. It's not just adding new dialogue. This movie is going to be completely different to the first movie. Then it goes on to say that the notion of Michael Keaton was brought in to replace Ben Affleck is pretty much fake news. It really is. As well as Robert Pattinson being a replacement as well, because it's essentially creating the DC Multiverse. Now, before we found out about all this information, we thought Robert Pattinson was going to be the main Batman. He still could be, but we've seen it in the Arrowverse that Ezra Miller crossed over to the Arrowverse. The multiverse is coming. There's going to be multiple versions of Batman. One's going to be Batfleck, one's going to be Robert Pattinson, one could be Michael Keaton, and then one could be whoever they cast as Batman Beyond. Maybe Zac Efron, maybe Tom Holland, maybe anyone else. And it went on to say the following: they are bringing everyone back. This is the plan. This is a design because of Zack. This is a plan they're moving forward with. I mean, I kept saying it's a great time to be a DC fan. And also brings up a good point that the artwork released with the DC Fandom virtual convention looks like the DC Multiverse. And it really does look like the multiverse. And DC did it first, so it would make a lot of sense. And like I said, why Ben Affleck agreed to return as Batman, we don't know. But it does seem like, based on recent information, allegedly, guys, we've got to say allegedly here. So we're going to read what it says. Regarding why Ben Affleck returns, it said because Affleck will once again gain control of his Batman. Interesting enough, Jeff Johns has been blamed as being the reason why Ben Affleck was replaced in the first place. John is said to have caused interference with Affleck's decisions involving the script. In addition, Zack Snyder brought Affleck on board as his choice for DCEU's Dark Knight. Since Snyder left the Justice League, Affleck decided it wasn't worth all the headache to remain as Batman. Johns is also blamed for screwing over multiple problems, but we won't talk about that. So essentially what is going to happen potentially at this event is Batman has agreed to return for an HBO Max series. It also goes on to say in this article, Affleck agreed to return as Batman on HBO Max because he didn't want it to take away from anything that Robert Pattinson was doing and he's starring his up-and-coming Matt Reeves movie. So it would make a lot of sense, because even if Ben Affleck does return, which it is looking likely that he will, it's on a streaming service. It's not on the box office, although they probably will release it in the cinema as well. He said this: I think a lot of people misconstruct why he left in the first place. Explains. A lot of people will say, oh, Ben left because he almost killed himself in doing the role. They take it further than it really was. Essentially, Ben took the role because of Zack. Zack convinced him. Zack sold the idea. Zack pitched him. He loved the idea. He built the loyalty to Zack. When Zack left, Ben still stayed because he said, I can make this work. I'll do it still. I'm producing this. I'm going to make it happen. But it started happening to him. He started losing control of what he wanted to do with the role. He started losing it. He started to lose interest. Eventually, his own health concerns came up, and he realized that if he kept going down this path, he wouldn't get what he wanted. So he walked away, essentially. So Zack Snyder's back in full force, which means that Ben Affleck will be back in full force. I don't know when this will be confirmed. Like I said, it could be at Justice Con, it could be at the DC Fandom event, but it's looking likely. There's more evidence that he is coming back than he isn't. Regardless to what happens with Michael Keaton and it's setting up Batman Beyond, Terry, aka Terrence, and all that kind of good stuff, it is looking very likely. So we'll leave the link down below. It goes on to say, Zack Snyder back in full force, then Ben Affleck decided to go back on and sign again with Batman. He didn't want to compromise, so he backed out. Then the magic happened. Zack came back in full force. All the people that caused the issues to begin are gone now, so Zack is back. He's back making the movie he wanted to make, the movie that we should have seen. This pretty much gave him a blanket check to finish the Zack Snyder Justice League, so giving the level of trust back to Zack Snyder. With a huge moment for Ben, and having the idea Zack is back on control, back on board with the project, the idea that he can control the movie going forward, the project. Zack wanted to make the Batman movie he always wanted to make and have Zack in his corner, and that was enough to sell the idea of returning. And I know what a lot of people are going to say, but this means that Robert Pattinson's out. No, if you actually look at the kind of design work for this fandom event, it does look like DC will be introducing the multiverse. Everyone knows that the multiverse is something that originated in DC Comics. It is huge. The multiverse is such a big thing. And it looks like if we do ever get this Flashpoint movie, although I still do not believe that we're going to get it, just because there's all this speculation about Michael Keaton and Christian Bale and your Warstu taking up the mantle. At this point, anyone could take up the mantle. But you get the gist of it. The source may not be the best source, like we said. The Culture Nerd has been on point for a lot of things recently. They recently spoke about the original Suicide Squad cut. Then David, the producer, director, basically said, yeah, it exists. Let HBO Max know you want it. So they are building a pretty decent reputation, and you got to understand, all these insiders that debunk stuff and stuff like that, they always get things wrong. Even the big ones, even the ones with the blue ticks, they all get things wrong, guys. The Avengers 4 title, the release dates for multiple movies, they all get things wrong. So I know some of them are going, oh, the Ben Affleck stuff is trash, it's untrue, it's not true, they're never going to do that. Well, did anyone ever think that the Zack Snyder cut was ever going to happen? No. So it's looking more likely that it will happen than it won't happen, and that is where I stand. And like I said, even before I read the article, I've been told stuff from my sources from behind the scenes, the same sources that told me about the Snyder cut coming, just like I said it did, the same sources that told me about the storyline for the Marvel Avengers video game with MODOK being the villain. So I've got to trust my sources. My sources generally are right. But of this article I'm going from, I will leave it down below. I'm just discussing if this could happen. It could happen. So it looks like we are getting a Batman multiverse. No, not really. Just the multiverse. So it is looking very, very freaking likely, guys, that it will be happening very soon. Maybe in August, maybe in July. At the end of this month, I think that's when Justice Con is. So we're going to find out very soon if the rumors are true. And if they aren't true, I'll be like, yeah, guys, sorry, my sources kind of got it wrong. But Either way, I will tell you, I will report, I will keep you up to date. So it would be pretty cool if you get Henry Cavill confirming Man of Steel 2, like we are hearing reports about. That could be happening at DC Fandom. There are 2 unlisted movies, 2 secret movies, and the other one could be the Joe Manganiello Deathstroke movie with Ben Affleck, because Ben's already literally said he's back. Like, you guys need to get this out of your head. Get this idea out of your head that they are only returning for dialogue. That is not the case. I don't care who, what, how says. That is not the case. This Snyder Cut movie, it's going to surprise you. It really is, because we live in a world now where we're going to have multiple different stories for the same character. And maybe it might be the case now that they can let these other Supermans in, which I don't really like. I think Tyler Hoechlin's variation of Superman is pretty bad. The same thing with Brandon Routh. I don't particularly like each variation of them, but I guess the more Supermans, the better, the DC fans should say. That's my unbiased opinion. My biased opinion is there's only one Superman. But it's looking like there will be multiple versions of a lot of different characters, but this might confuse the general casual audience. That seem to kind of find Batman vs Superman and Avengers Endgame hard to understand, when Avengers Endgame has got one of the most simpleton stories ever. It's one of the most basic storylines ever with so many plot holes. So like always, let me know, guys, what do you think? Are you happy that Ben Affleck is pretty much confirmed to be coming back? And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.